Hi everybody, in this video we are going to discuss about the excretory products and the elimination chapter, and the topic that we are going to discuss about that in this chapter is about counter current mechanism. So here in the previous videos we studied that the parts of the nephron and the functions of the tubules, all parts of the tube will also be discussed, and especially when we are discussing about the Henle's loop, you should recollect back and you can remember that it is having the two parts. Okay, it is having the two parts. One is called as what? The descending limb, and the other one is called as the ascending limb. Okay, descending limb of the Henle's loop and ascending limb of the Henle's loop. So here in this diagram we are seeing the functional unit of the kidney called as what? The nephron. Okay, we are seeing the functional unit of the kidney called as what? The nephron we are seeing. And the most important point that we have to remember here is we are going to stress upon the Henle's loop, descending limb and ascending limb. And if you are recollecting back what we discussed, we should remember that the descending limb, from the descending limb, please remember it is permeable to water. It is permeable to water, means it absorbs the water. When it absorbs the water, the filtrate that is there passing through the descending limb becomes more concentrated, because what will be remaining in this filtrate? More electrolytes will be there. More electrolytes will be there in this particular descending limb. Remember that. That's the point one that we have to remember. And when it comes to the ascending limb, we discussed that it is permeable to electrolytes, but it is impermeable to water. Okay, it is impermeable to water. Okay, so what happens here? It becomes diluted. The filtrate becomes diluted here. Point two that you have to remember. So this is permeable to water, impermeable to electrolytes. Then descending limb. Ascending limb is permeable to electrolytes, impermeable to water, which means here the filtrate becomes concentrated. Here when it passes into this, it becomes diluted. Remember that point. Now here in this video we are going to discuss about a very important topic called as counter current mechanism. And another point we have to remember, that when we discussed about the efferent arteriole, the blood vessel that is leaving out the Bowman's capsule, okay, the Bowman's capsule, cup-like structure, the blood vessel that is leaving out, okay, is called as what? Efferent arteriole. It is this efferent arteriole which will be coiling around what? The other parts of the renal tubule, means distal convoluted tubule, Henle's loop, and the proximal convoluted tubule. It is coiled around, and when it is coiled around, there is a minute network that is forming parallel to the Henle's loop, especially to the Henle's loop we say. Okay, so here if you are seeing, it is forming parallel, that the efferent arteriole that is coiling around the other parts of the nephron is called as what? Peritubular capillaries we said. Peritubular capillaries. From those peritubular capillaries, it is also forming parallel to the Henle's loop. And that peritubular part which is running parallel to the Henle's loop, we call it as what? Vasa recta. We call it as vasa recta. So here is the vasa recta. Okay, here is the vasa recta. Or otherwise, if you are seeing here, in simple, if this is the nephron that we say, okay, here is the efferent arteriole and efferent arteriole that are entering and leaving the nephron. It is this which is forming as the coiling network, okay, and forming like this, but at the same time part of it is forming as what now? Parallel to the Henle's loop. Parallel to the Henle's loop it is forming. So here the peritubular capillaries, okay, that are forming parallel to the Henle's loop, it is this which is now called as what? The vasa recta, and we are drawing it like this. It is now here in the form of a U shape. And now if you are clearly seeing now, only we are now going to look at the Henle's loop and the vasa recta. Try to understand this very carefully. And we have to remember that mammals will be producing more concentrated urine. Mammals will be producing more concentrated urine. So how this is possible for the mammals to produce more concentrated urine, which means more water is being retained, then the urine becomes more concentrated. How is it possible? We are going to discuss in this video now. So here, in order to make the urine more concentrated, vasa recta and the Henle's loop will be helping in this process. Now if you are seeing clearly Henle's loop, in the Henle's loop, okay, in the Henle's loop, here the descending limb, okay, the descending limb which is permeable to water we said, which means electrolytes are there becoming more concentrated, and it is passing, okay, from what regions? It is from the cortex of the kidney and into the outer medulla and also into the inner medulla. It will be moving now. So as the concentration of this filtrate, okay, is moving down deep into the medulla, it is becoming more concentrated. Why it is becoming more concentrated? Because water is being reabsorbed, but not the, it is permeable to water but not electrolytes. So concentration of electrolytes are increasing, less water is there. Okay, so the as the electrolytes are moving, you can see the concentration of the electrolytes as it is increasing, and as it moves now into the ascending limb, as it moves into the ascending limb, here now the ascending limb, as we said already, that it is permeable to what? Electrolytes, but it is impermeable to water, which means it becomes diluted. The filtrate becomes diluted. Now the NaCl is coming out from the ascending limb. NaCl is coming out from the ascending limb. The NaCl that comes outside from the ascending limb is now taken by the descending limb of the vasa recta. Follow it carefully. So here we can say this is the descending limb of what now? The vasa recta. Now the flow of the filtrate or the blood in the filtrate in the Henle's loop, blood in the vasa recta is very, very important. Very, very important. See here, if you are seeing the Henle's loop, it is having descending limb and ascending limb we are saying. In the descending limb, the flow is in downward. In the ascending limb, the flow is in upward. Same thing even in the case of vasa recta. In the descending limb, the flow is downward. In the ascending limb, the flow is upward. So that's why we say that as counter current means what? Opposite flow. In one limb, it is moving down. In another limb, it is moving upward. Opposite, counter, opposite. Here also the same. In one limb of the Henle's loop, it is moving down, and in another limb, it is moving up. Counter means opposite. Current means flow. Opposite flow. Counter current means opposite flow. In the limb, in the Henle's loop, which is having two limbs, in one limb it is moving down, in another limb it is moving up. That's why we are calling it as counter current. Please remember that. Same thing even in the vasa recta also. In one limb it is moving down, and in another limb it is moving up. That's why it is called as counter current. Counter means what? Opposite. Current means what? Flow. Opposite flow in both the limbs we are seeing. So that's why it is we are calling it as counter current mechanism. So okay. Now what we said, NaCl is coming out from the ascending limb of the Henle's loop. This NaCl is taken up by the descending limb of the vasa recta. Okay, descending limb of vasa recta is absorbing what? The NaCl. So here slowly, as the NaCl is increasing, the concentration of NaCl is increasing inside the descending limb of the Henle's loop, and as it is moving down, the concentration is becoming more concentrated, and as it is moving up now into the ascending limb of the vasa recta, the same NaCl will be moving out. It is released out. Where it is released out is the point. It is released out into the medullary interstitium. Please remember this. This is the most important point. So here from ascending limb, NaCl is released, and that NaCl is taken up by the descending limb of vasa recta, and that NaCl is moving down. As it is moving down, concentration is increasing. See, from 300 milliosmolarity to 1200 milliosmolarity, the concentration is increasing. So as it is moving down, the concentration of this electrolytes are increasing. As it is moving up in the vasa recta, it is decreasing because all that NaCl will be released outside. NaCl will be released outside. So here we can see very clearly that the NaCl is released into the medullary interstitium. Thereby it is increasing the concentration of medullary interstitium in the kidneys. So here we have to remember that NaCl that is released from the ascending limb of Henle's loop is exchanged with the descending limb of the vasa recta, and the same NaCl is again released out into the medulla. So in this way, the medullary interstitium, it is maintaining high osmolarity. See, from 300 to 900 it is increasing, because it means that it is maintaining high osmolarity, okay, in the medullary interstitium because of this process. This is very important, because if at all, if this is not taking place, if the NaCl is not coming out, remember that, just let us assume that NaCl is not released into the medulla, what happens? The concentration of NaCl is more in the ascending limb, and outside the ascending limb, means in the medulla the concentration is less. Means in simple we can say NaCl is more here because it is not released, and water that is there in the medulla starts going into the Henle's loop, means ascending limb of the Henle's loop. So water gets less, which can damage the medullary cells, okay, which can damage the medullary cells. So that is not happening. Why? Because the exchange of what? NaCl from the ascending limb to the with the descending limb of the vasa recta. And at the same time, not only NaCl, it is also the urea. Very important point again. Another point that you have to keep in mind is the urea. So urea is also playing an important role in maintaining high osmolarity in the medullary interstitium. High osmolarity in the medullary interstitium. How? See here, as from the ascending limb, as these electrolytes, including the nitrogenous base called as urea, as it is moving down into the collecting duct. So what is this now? Collecting duct. So from the collecting duct, as the urea is moving, becoming more concentrated, as it moves into the medulla, some of this urea will be released out into the medulla. Some of the urea will be released into the medulla. And this urea, okay, when it is there present in the medulla, the concentration of urea increases in the medulla now. Because of what? The urea is present in the medulla. So it should not happen, but it will be happening for a better thing, or for a better process, for a good purpose. What is that good purpose? When the urea comes outside into the medulla, some of the amount of this urea comes outside from the collecting duct into the medulla. Because of this, water that is there in the collecting duct, will be released more. It is coming out more here now into the medulla. Why the water is now coming out from the collecting duct into the medulla? Because what is there now? Urea. In order to reduce the concentration of urea, little urea only, maximum urea will be there present in the collecting duct, which will be eliminated from the kidneys, okay, in the form of urine in the form of urine will be excreting that urea, but little amount is there here. So because this urea came out, in order to dilute that urea, now what is coming out from the collecting duct? Water will be coming out. In this way, water also can be retained in the body now. So water is coming out, and now the question is, what happens to that urea after the water comes out? Please remember that little amount of urea will be absorbed by the thin walls of the ascending limb again. Thin segment of the ascending limb. Okay, thin segment of the ascending limb has the ability to reabsorb the urea and take it back. And again some urea will come out. Water will be coming out. So if the water is coming out more, what happens to the urine here? Will it becomes more concentrated or less concentrated? The answer is the urine becomes more concentrated. Please remember, the filtrate that is formed here, when it is compared with the urine that is formed here, you should remember that the urine that is formed, okay, is 4 times more concentrated than the filtrate that is formed in the initial parts of the nephron. Okay, 4 times more concentrated than the filtrate that is formed in the initial parts of the nephron. Why? It's all because water is being reabsorbed back, or it is coming out from the collecting duct. It is not getting excreted out, eliminated out from the body. It is one mechanism to retain back the water. How? Means because of the urea that is there in the medulla. So here we should remember the concept. It is all because of NaCl and urea. The concentration of medullary interstitium is high. From 300 milliosmolarity to 1200 milliosmolarity, it is changing. It's only because of the NaCl and the urea. So this whole process we are calling it as what? The counter current mechanism. We are calling it as the counter current mechanism. So here we should remember that this process, okay, this process which is involving what now? The vasa recta and the Henle's loop, okay, is now called as what? The exchange of these substances like NaCl and urea togetherly with the help of what? Vasa recta and Henle's loop is called as the counter current mechanism. And this whole process is helping maintaining what now? The concentration gradient in the medullary interstitium. Why this process is taking place means, please remember that in order to maintain the concentration gradient in the medullary interstitium, okay, concentration gradient is maintained from 300 milliosmolarity to 1200 milliosmolarity. How it is maintained? It is because of counter current mechanism with the help of two substances. What are those? Sodium chloride and the urea. By involving two parts, okay, what are those two parts? The Henle's loop and the vasa recta. Please remember that. So here, and at the same time, another one is helps in easy passage of water from the collecting tubule. See here, we can see that water is easily passing out from the tubule, collecting duct, okay, collecting duct. Why? Because the presence of urea. Urea is there now present in the medullary interstitium. In order to dilute that so that this urea will not damage the medullary interstitium, water is coming out. So here we have to remember that it is helping in easy passage of water from the collecting tubule. So if the water is now coming out, now obviously it will be changing into what? More concentrated. So it is leading to the concentration of urine. Okay, so the filtrate. Okay, the filtrate, nothing but now we are calling it as the urine. The urine becomes more concentrated. The urine becomes more concentrated because water is being reabsorbed. Why the water is being reabsorbed? Because of the presence of urea in the medullary interstitium. That's the point we have to keep in mind. And the last point, again I am repeating, is that remember that the humans can produce urine that is 4 times concentrated than the filtrate that is produced in the initial parts that is formed, okay, in the initial parts the filtrate that is formed. So you have to remember that urine is more concentrated than the filtrate that is formed at the initial parts. So these are the points that we have to keep in mind when we are discussing about the counter current mechanism. Counter current mechanism. Thank you.